Asked a question.
Do you really like video games?
Here's what I found.
Boy, I do, and my apologies right now if you don't, as this episode goes deep into the territory. What captured my attention at this McKinney game arcade is the unprecedented quality of the arcade games and pinball machines. Every button, joystick, and pinball bumper is nearly perfect, like they just came out of the factory. Located on Virginia Street, just east of the square between Foxy's restaurant and the Comedy Arena, Arcade 92 is run by Michael Lepsch, and you won't find anyone better versed on the gaming industry and its history. It's called Arcade 92. But where's the 92 come from? What happened in 1992 that changed your life?
So, yes, changed my life for sure. But in general, it was kind of one of the largest shifts in the video gaming industry. So, to go back to understand what happened in '92, we got to go backwards just a little bit. So, in about 1983-ish, the entire video game industry collapsed. Okay. So, this is where you had like your asteroids, your Space Invaders, your Pac-Man, things like that, and kind of towards the early part, 82, 83, people started thinking, hey, you know what? I think that was just a fad. It lasted about 4 or 5 years, and we're pretty sure that everything that video games could possibly do, we've done it. There's nothing new. We can't advance anymore. We've reached the limits of what a video gaming entertainment is possible to do. Right. So around that same time, Atari was very popular with their home system, the Atari 2600, and that was enough to pull people out of the arcades. But sadly, and generally speaking, Atari is blamed for the collapse of the industry.
Really?
So yeah, because they had their 2600, and when you bought a game at the store, you had the box art, and the box art looked fantastic. You know, like Asteroids, it was like a really cool graphics, like a ship, and in an asteroids field in outer space, it was beautiful. And then when you got home after spending your $50, $60, popped it into your 2600, and it was a triangle chasing a jiggly circle, right?
I remember it.
So yeah, it was nothing like what was at the arcade.
Yeah.
But by that time, people were accepting some worse graphics to play a version of what they enjoyed playing at the arcade. By the time that people realized how bad of an idea that was, and they weren't getting that same experience, many of the arcades already started closing up. So it's a bad coincidence. But when the video game E.T. came out, made by Atari,
The arguably the worst video game ever created. Is that the history on that one?
And what's fascinating is it's actually a pretty good game. So the game requires, demands you read the instruction to follow the story in the manual. And if you follow the instructions in the storyline, the manual reads like a book. And then as you read the book, you do the things. And if you actually do that, it's actually a fairly enjoyable game.
It's giving me Dragon's Lair vibes, where you have to memorize some kind of,
you have to kind of memorize something. But there was kind of like it was a new type of game where it was a combination of reading and then playing, and then reading some more than playing. Yeah. And people just like me, I took the game out of the box. Yeah. I left the manual in the box, and I put it in there, and I just started pushing. Well, I had one stick and one button, right? How hard can it be? So anyway, so that game is blamed for causing the collapse. And the reality it was that writing was already on the wall. Yeah. It was already done for. So this is a very long way of saying a lot of things happen. Entire game industry collapses. Everybody thinks that it's over.
And this is around what year that this is
1983 is the specific date given to the collapse of the video game industry.
Leading up to 92, where you get the name for the arcade. What was the seminal event
So that's
there?
going to be what we're going to refer to as like the silent period, or the quiet period is a better thing. Like video games were still around. Like if anybody's ever played the game like Mr. Dew's Castle, like that is one of those times where things were kind of quiet. So there were still games out there, but it was, instead of like 20 games being released a quarter, it was like one game being released a quarter. Okay. But most of the arcades had closed up, and so on and so on. So then come to, people had the Atari eventually morphed into like a Super Nintendo being at home, or just like a Nintendo, like an NES or a Sega Genesis, and eventually that would become like Super Nintendo. So in 1991, a company called Capcom was like, let's try an arcade game one more time. Let's make a game called Street Fighter 2. So I made a game called Street Fighter 2, right? And I put that into the few remaining arcades, and it was massively popular, right? And actually, I skipped a step. Right before that, Konami is a company that saw how popular Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles were. So in 1989, very end of 1989, they were like, let's release something that's never really been done before. It's technically been done once before, but they thought it had never been done before. It was a 4-player game. So you can, there's 4 Ninja Turtles, right? So you can play as each 4 Ninja Turtles, right? So that was in late 91, or late 89. Then Street Fighter 2 comes out.
Yeah.
Then in October of 1992, Mortal Kombat is released. And Mortal Kombat, we shifted from adorable little Pac-Man running around to now 7-year-olds finishing him, right?
Right, tearing the spine out of the body.
Tearing the spine out of the body, exactly.
Yeah.
So we had shifted quite a bit, but it did its job. It got the world's attention.
Yeah.
So even the U.S. Congress tried to ban the game. So when you try to ban something, that's the fastest way to make it more popular, right?
Right.
So everybody's like, well, now I want to see what all the hubbub is about. I'm going to go to my local arcade or even drive half an hour to the few arcades that are left. I want to see what this game is all about. So it was basically that moment. And I don't want to say it's entirely because Mortal Kombat come out. That's not. There was a lot leading up to that.
Yeah.
With Street Fighter and TMNT, but the point was, the way I give the analogy is that when the Ninja Turtle game came out, it was like somebody put the wood out, right?
Yeah.
And then when Street Fighter 2 came out, it's like they put the lighter fluid on it, on the right. And then when Mortal Kombat came out, that was someone lighting a match and tossing it on the fire.
Compounding matters for the gaming industry. Another development was taking shape that would literally create one of the biggest industries in American history.
So right before all these events, we had PC gaming at home. And in 1991, and this is crazy, it just depends on the age of everybody who's listening right now, but there used to not be an internet, right? I know that sounds crazy. There was previously not a Google, right? So in mid to late 1991,
Wolfenstein,
the internet, yes, exactly.
Doom.
You had, and then you had those games, but now you could go online and play with your friends.
Yeah.
So in mid to late 1991, we had games go online. Your PC games go online.
Yeah.
And then around that exact same time in 1991, the Super Nintendo came out, which was somebody finally saying, hey, actually, I think we could push the limits here.
Yeah.
I think there's a next level. I think there's more to this video game thing. So that started the console wars. So basically what's happening is 1992 is a convergence of the arcades all coming back, the console wars starting, and taking gaming online. All those events happen in that little pocket of time.
If you walk into Arcade 92, you'll see this convergence all under one roof. Of course, there are the legacy arcade stand-up machines, another section of newer ones, and of course there's a pinball section. But on the back wall is a collection of all the popular gaming consoles with comfortable chairs and controllers. Lepsch says there's ample evidence that there are customers ready to support just about any good gaming business.
The video gaming industry, if you take all the movies, the entire music industry, and even tack on the NFL's revenue, video games beat all that combined. Yeah, it is the largest entertainment. It is the largest entertainment industry, like, in our country, is video game related.
Wow.
So you have all your home systems, like Xbox, even your cell phone games, all the various types of games. Basically, just any electronic game, any game that is on a video screen, is larger than all of that.
Wow.
So, anyways, that and the cool thing is that never would have happened unless the events happened in 1992. And you have to remember that this is a unique American culture thing.
The only other country that celebrates arcades and gaming to this extent is Japan. Korea and Sweden are also into the gaming, but not to this level. It's helped Michael open not just one, but 2 Arcade 92s. This one in McKinney and the other one being in Flower Mound.
So this location we opened November 29th of 2019, which was done on purpose. That's the anniversary of Pong. So Pong is technically the game, depending upon how much of a purist you are, but Pong was going to say that's the game that started it all. There was technically a couple video games before that, but Pong is the game that, hey, I'm going to monetize. I'm going to put a quarter in this machine and then play it.
Yeah. Where were you when you saw your first video game?
So in my first, so I was born in 1979. So here's where things get a little tricky. So I was 3 and a half when the entire industry collapsed. So I missed it, right? So I had no idea that video games existed. So by the time that I was 7, so this is the quiet era of the arcade. So we didn't really have arcades anymore. What I did is I went to we were in Tulsa, Oklahoma at the time was where we were living, and we were at a gas station.
Yeah.
So I go into the gas station. My dad gives me like a couple of quarters to go buy a snack or something like that.
Yeah.
And I see at the back of the gas station is an arcade game, and I'd never seen one before. So instead of buying a snack, I put a quarter in, and that was Super Mario Brothers, right? So that was the first exposure I ever had to a video game. So I played that, and the way my brain is wired or whatever, like I see patterns, right? Like that's kind of like my thing. Maybe it's a disability, I don't know, but maybe I should get diagnosed for something. But I see patterns and things. So on the way home, I remembered everything. I could remember where the first mushroom was, where the first bad guy was, the first Goomba was. I remember where the first star power was. I remember where there's a place where you can go down to the under part where you can go to that bonus level. I remembered it all, and I can almost like draw it,
replaying it in your head as a young kid,
off of a single quarter, right?
Wow.
So I realized that there was a pattern to it. So then what I did is I got some funding by searching quarters inside the couch cushions, right? And then I played real life Frogger, running in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and running across 6 lanes of traffic at 7 years old, right, to get back to the gas station again. I kept doing that like week after week for a while, like trying my best to save the princess, right? And my parents found out about it, and they were like, "Nope, this is stop. You cannot do this. You can't risk your life every day."
A safer option came in the form of a gifted Atari 2600 console with Defender, Donkey Kong, Pac-Man, and a bunch of other games. So the gaming continued at home. And since Michael's exposure up to this point was limited to one arcade game, he didn't know that the Atari was a low-quality version of all of them.
So I had no idea. And even like Defender is one of my favorite games. I actually got a Defender right behind me. Right there.
Love that one. Love that game.
When I played it for real in the Atari, or when I played it for real here, I was like, what? This is a way better game. Like at the Atari 2600, you were flying over and you had to pick up these little white dots, right, to save the white dots. They're people. They're actual people here, right? Like I was like, oh, I'm saving people. I get it now. Because again, the graphics were so dumbed down. I was like, why am I saving these dots? I don't understand.
Right.
So I had no idea though. So anyways, all my loyalty to save the princess had gone out the window. Because now I had a bag of 30 games in there.
Yeah.
And I got to experience an era that I missed.
Okay, time now for a question that might be hard for a video arcade owner to answer honestly. Is it an addiction, and has it ever gotten unhealthy for you?
Yeah, I mean,
Be honest, I'll be able to tell.
It is. Like I said, I feel like there is a thing about video games too where again, like I see the patterns and I enjoy the patterns.
Yeah.
So that, I don't know, whatever that is that scratches that itch, you know what I mean, where you can see the patterns. There is one nice thing about video games is that there is something where you can figure it out, right? And, much of life is like, hey, here's all these random things coming at you. Everything's very unpredictable.
Yeah.
There's one nice thing about games being somewhat predictable. Is that going to make sense? So there's that where you feel like, hey, I can actually, a perfect blend of I know what's coming next, but it's still challenging and I may not make it.
Right.
Does that kind of make sense?
Absolutely.
As opposed to just like life, you're just kind of feel like you're getting tossed back and forth and around. And
right.
things like
It's
that.
not playing Parcheesi. It's a life or death thing in the back of your head. Even with the silly games, like, Defender, you're saving the troops. How many did I save? Oh, I lost 3 guys.
Yeah, exactly. So there's still a blend of challenge, but somewhat predictability.
You're looking to make order of the chaos. That's kind of your thing, right?
That part, I don't know if I would say that's addictive. But it is definitely one of those things where it checks the box, the reward center in the brain.
Exactly.
So,
much like the scrolling and other things, it can be great, or you can let it take too much of your time.
And as far as collecting them, that part is definitely addictive. You're scouring Facebook Marketplace and auctions all around the world, honestly, or country. It really does feel good to try to find something and either bring it back to life or just give it a new home.
What's your power bill run every month here?
It's actually not too bad. A lot of people think about that. Like our air conditioning, just like a house, is the number one thing, right? So one of the big struggles we had when we first started was the perception that these things created like a whole bunch of heat, right? So every game behind us right now, this is like our 80s section here.
Yeah.
1.2 amps is probably the highest out of each one of those back there. So if I was to plug in my cell phone, it will use about the power of all 9 of those games back there.
You're kidding.
So it actually uses very, very little.
So it's not like running an AI farm or something. It's like a few TV sets, right?
Not at all. Yeah. The vast majority of our electric bill for this location, and my other location in Flower Mound, Texas, is much bigger. It's about double the size.
Okay.
But yeah, it's electric bill. It is only really feeling it with the AC. That's it.
Okay.
So, and of course we're in Texas too. But yeah, they actually use very, very little power collectively.
Having grown up in the Bay Area, I was there when video games were kind of at their apex. I was graduated from high school in the early 80s, and so it was still hot.
Yeah.
You have games here, so I know from experience, having played the originals back in the day, what I fell in love with when I came in here was, okay, the Defender knob is not broken and wobbling all over. The buttons are all responsive.
Yeah.
How do you keep machines that are no doubt no longer supported by the original equipment makers? How do you keep them running like they were when they came off the manufacturing line?
It's getting better. One of the big struggles is like the little sensors that are inside there, like those break all the time. But thankfully they're not that hard to make, and it's getting a little easier. There's a few companies still out there that manufacture some of the parts, not a lot, but some of the parts. And so we can source them through there. But a lot of times we'll put it this way, that the games definitely get abused. That's for sure. So just on their own through normal play, they actually are built very well. What we have to account for is most modern games, like at your typical like really big arcades where you get tickets, right?
Yeah.
Not saying any names on purpose. All right. But the point of most games is hit the button as hard as you can, as fast as you can. That's most modern games, right? At those kind of places. So sometimes we'll see somebody come in and play like Tron right behind us, and it has that a pistol grip. We see kids hanging on it sometimes, right? So there was a while where Tron was one that, because I had a home collection, but it's one of those games that I refused to bring in because once that handle broke, it was over, right? But about 3 years ago, somebody started making 3D printing has really helped us out, right?
Okay.
So somebody has really started making aftermarket. So now I know I can confidently put it in here. It's not if it breaks, but when it breaks. When some kid rips that sucker off of there, right, I can put it back in. There's a game right behind us, which is not on video right now, which is Paperboy. You can see it.
Oh, yeah, of course.
It has actual handlebar. That's the thing. Right? We all think of Paperboy on the Nintendo Entertainment System, where you had a little thing and you had your little D-pad, right?
Right.
The arcade version has actual handlebars.
I'm old school, man. I remember it, and I played this one, and it just took me right
has
back
for real
to
handlebars. So, but again, we will find people hanging off of those. Like usually, thankfully, little kids, so they weigh the least.
Right.
But we definitely have problems. We have another game. I don't know if it's visible there, but Atari Star Wars over there. We actually came in one day, and the entire thing had been ripped off, wood and all, like the entire wood structure. So that means somebody of pretty good weight was hanging on it and actually ripped the wood out. That took us probably about 6 months to rebuild that because we had to go back and rebuild some of the wood structure. Mechanical is one thing, but so it is not easy. It is not easy, and 99% of the people that come in here respect the machines, but sometimes we have to accommodate for those that don't.
With many jobs, it starts out as a labor of love, and then eventually all jobs is just work. You have to show up. You got to turn the machines. You got to fix things like you described. Is it hard to hold on to the love that started the whole video game biz for you?
Absolutely. I mean, sometimes you're living in a dream and a nightmare at the exact same time. I mean, that's just how it is. So, end of the day, it started as a hobby. It's like I started with a few games to kind of relive my child. Like our whole slogan here is "It's time to play again," right? And that was like a thing for me. It's like I was working so much, not really making time for recreation. Or if it was recreation, it was surrounded around my kids. Like, hey, let's go see the latest SpongeBob movie. Now, I love me some SpongeBob. I think SpongeBob's great. But there's times you're like, I'm not really doing adult things for my entertainment, like as a family guy, right? Yeah. So what can I do that speaks to me and my youth and stuff like that? So that's why I started collecting.
And that hobby of collecting game machines eventually led to Arcade 92, with about 100 machines in the McKinney location and 120 in Flower Mound.
But yeah, that's it. So some days you're like, man, I can't believe this is really my life. And sometimes you're like, man, I can't believe this is really my life. What have I done here? How did I get here? Right? Like,
One of the things Michael gets asked is if there are competitions or tournaments held here. It's historically been a common thing at big arcades, but he says these have a tendency to kill the relaxing vibe. He says regular Smash Brothers tournaments are fun, with lots of people who know each other and play friendly, so he hosts those. But for whatever reason, some other games, notably pinball, make for contests that get a little too hot.
sometimes those get a bit too serious, right? And so we're here to be a very casual place to hang out.
Yep.
Like, again, and so my goal was not to let things get... if we do a tournament, I want to know who's in it, right? Like I want to make sure that someone isn't like just turning this place into a stressful environment, right?
Right.
This needs to be a place where you kick back, you relax, you kind of remember what it was like being a kid.
Gaming brings out the kid in everyone. Michael says he sees 55-year-olds coming in, but his target customer group, well, they were young adults or kids in the early 90s. So they're in their 30s and 40s, and lots of them have kids.
And one thing that I considered a big failure for the mission, we'll say, is if some guy comes in, let's say he's 35, right? I don't know, make up an age. And he's like, hey, I got my 3 kids. I just want to pay for them. I don't want to play. Right, like you missed the whole point, dude. Right, you see what I'm saying? Like the whole point. So, and it's cool because we do really like seeing a dad or a mom showing the kids Pac-Man. We like them showing the Miss Pac-Man. We like the dad showing somebody Galaga, and then the kid drags them over there to our modern section and is showing them Fortnite and Smash Bros. Because we have everything. We're a multi-generational experience.
Yep.
So I've got games from 40 years ago. I've got games from that's like Space Invaders back here, and then I've got games from 40 days ago, that just came out over in our console section.
So it's something for all ages, but always kid-friendly. Interestingly, he says there's a surge of teenage and early 20s coming in, and he thinks he knows why.
Retro is so popular right now.
Yep.
And I don't think it's just coincidence. Like with the movies that are coming out, there's so much push to... Well, I kind of jokingly say that since 2005, we've been redoing the 90s for the last 20 years. Like, we just keep doing it over and over and over again. If you're really thinking, like, we just kind of... And a lot of that is, like, I think we had a defined culture in the 90s. With the dawn of social media, we used to have the culture of the 80s, the culture of the 90s. Now we have the culture of Sunday to Thursday, right? Like, culture changes abruptly every 3 to 4 days. So there's no way to really define, like we used to be able to define it in, like, the 90s. So I think a lot of young folks, young 20s, they yearn for that, to be like, I just want to experience something that was defined and not changing every 5 seconds.
If you ever think you want to start a gaming arcade, Michael says he has the perfect recipe.
You need Miss Pac-Man and Galaga and 98 other games.
You baited me on that one. That's awesome.
So that's basically what it is. Now, we do have some games which I would consider to be the ungettables, right? Like, we have Paperboy, right? Like, the Paperboy I have is the only one I've seen in 8 years.
Yeah.
I've been to other arcades. I've never seen one other than the one we have.
Yep.
Tron is almost ungettable.
Yep.
We have a game over there, Tapper, if you remember Tapper. That's ungettable. Yeah. So we have a lot of... Spy Hunter is probably close to the category of ungettable.
Yep.
So we have a lot of the ungettable games here. So those games, people will be like, no way. Because again, you can find an Asteroids a dime a dozen, right?
Yeah.
But there's some games that I will spend. I'm so bummed because we have a Dragon's Lair out for renovation right now, and it's been out renovating for a year. And it pains me because between the 2 locations, I have one. In 8-9 years of collecting, I've found one.
Wow.
Right. So those are great to have.
Yeah.
Those are really great to have.
Saw Knockout. That one took me right back. You don't see that all around a lot either.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Glass Joe.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Mike, Punch-Out is a fantastic game. It's good stuff. So.
Hey, I know you've got to open the business here. Thank you for your time. It was great talking to you, man.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, this was fun. I always like talking shop and reliving it all. So, yeah.
So that's a wrap on this McKinney Talk segment. If you ever see me at Arcade 92, be sure to say hello. And then let me school you on a game of Donkey Kong.
Game over, man. It's game over.
Until then, go enjoy McKinney.